Hi, I'm Matt. I do pedal videos and song tutorials, and I play in the band Map and Compass. And this is 2 of the 3. I'm going to make a song tutorial for one of our songs that I've gotten some requests for. Honestly, had just never done this before this point because I didn't imagine anybody would care, but I've had more than one person contact me asking how to play this song, and especially because it's one of my favorite riffs I ever wrote, so I use it in my demos a lot, and then people ask, what is that? How do I play it? This song is called One. It's by Map and Compass on our 2017 album Sky Above, Ground Beneath. It's one of my favorite guitar songs I've ever written, especially for church, and I'm going to go over how to play it. I'll have a link to the timestamp for whenever it is that I just play this, and you can, if you just want to watch me play it and observe my fingers and cut out all this talking that I'm doing, put a link to jump straight there. But ahead of that, I'm going to actually explain what I'm doing a little bit more thoroughly, so if you want to skip over that, go ahead. A couple of things are weird about it, but it's fundamentally just 2 guitars as a rhythm and a lead the whole way. Most of the rhythm chords are similar to one another. There's certain patterns I reuse. First thing to point out about this is that it's in D flat on the recording, which was not my idea, but sometimes you write riffs that you like and then the other people in your band need it to be in a different key for one reason or another. So it's in D flat on the record. Live, I've played it anywhere from C to D. We just kind of shuffle around in that area. I really specifically wrote it to be played using D chord shapes, like it uses the open D string as a drone a lot. And all of the rhythm guitar riffs include that string. The lead you can just shift down a fret and it works fine, but the rhythm guitar doesn't work at all. You have to play it totally differently. So what I'm going to be doing today is using my new Digitech Drop, which I bought almost entirely with this song in mind. There are other songs I now use this for, but as soon as I saw this, I was like, I can play One now correctly. So I'm going to be using this to shift down a half step. It would be as if my guitar was tuned to E flat standard. You could tune your guitar to E flat standard, you could use a drop, or you could just totally play this in D or some other key. There's also kind of a way to play this in standard with a capo. I don't like it quite as much, but it does get the job done, and I'll show that later on, the kind of alternate way to play the rhythm. And then there will be tabs for both of these parts. I'll link them in the comments because I know sometimes tab is like a cleaner way to learn something than trying to watch my fingers, but you'll have access to both. For the rhythm, the chord shapes that I like a lot in general, and especially on this song, are the low E and then playing a third up on the G string. So for like B minor, it's 7, mute the A string so it's not playing, open D drone, and then 7. And then for like G, it's 3, mute the A string, open D drone, 4. These are the chord shapes I'm using for the most of the riffs in the song for the rhythm guitar. So it's a lot of like the D major is 10, skip the A, 0, 11. Just this sort of thing is how most of the rhythm guitars are. So just a heads up about that. This is a good excuse to kick on whatever your kind of medium gain to high gain drive is, depending what you consider high gain drive. I believe on the recording on the album, it's probably 2017. It's probably my Snouse Black Box is like the primary tone for the rhythm guitars. And then you can just kind of play harder or softer to get like less or more drive out of it. So any sort of a blues breaker thing, Morning Glory, King of Tone would be what I actually used on this probably. What I would use now is the Mojo Hand Rook, which is my new medium gain drive. So something like this, bridge pickup. That was in D. I haven't turned on the drop yet, but whatever. I would probably not change pedals anywhere in this song. You can just play hard on the harder parts. And then for like the verses or something, just like kind of just pick less hard or maybe even roll off your volume. So there's really no tones that change on the rhythm guitar. It just gets more and less dynamic. So rhythm wise, there's just a couple of main riffs. The intro is kind of a D chord shape up here. It's the open D and then 7, 7. And then I'm adding a B in the root. So it's this shape, and then I'm kind of muting the A string all through this song. So, and then that's kind of an A, like 0, 7, 6. And then my G, I'm doing that, muting A, open D, and then 2 and 4. So the whole intro is like this. And then the chorus is a variation on that, but it starts major, so it's just the D thing up here without the B in the root. And then it does go down here, but it's not doing the high, it's not doing the B string anymore, it's just these. So it's this, and then it jumps up to grab that note. Just a normal A major there. And then the verse is those same shapes, but just quiet. And it just walks down from B minor to A to G, but just using those. And then the pre-chorus is same chord shapes, but it's palm muted and it's going G, B minor, A. Onto the chorus, which is that thing. And then there's really no riff during the guitar solo, it's just chords. I didn't want it to be too busy underneath what's already a pretty showy solo, so it's just like held out. I think that's the whole rhythm guitar for this song. There's only like 4 riffs in it. The lead guitar is more complicated. Switch to my neck pickup here. There is tape delay on the whole thing, but I'm not going to mess with that right now. So you can more clearly hear what I'm playing, but there would normally be a tape delay running the whole time. It comes in on this, which is kind of a inversion of a B minor up here. 9, 7, 7, 10. And then that's just your kind of this similar inversion, but for the A, and then down to the G. That's pretty straightforward. And then the whole first half of the verse it's like a D chord shape, but an octave up. And it's just doing this. Go with some delay. And then halfway through, it switches to still that same chord shape, but it does this. Which are just 2 different ways to play D up here. And then the pre-chorus takes a little bit of practice. It starts kind of like the top of a G chord. And then it slides up to here. So 10, 7, and 5. And then it's got a little palm muty bit there. And then the last time, it's just like a D major chord here. And then the chorus for the lead guitar is, again, just kind of high inversions. Similar to the intro. So where it gets dicey again is the solo, which is my best 80s metal flanger solo. On the recording, I think it's a flanger. When I do it now, it's usually a chorus or a phaser or something, but it sounds better with some sort of modulation on it, and then it's just this really over-the-top solo. So I'm going to do it slow. You may need to reference the tab for this, but... There's just a slide thing there. So the end is that D shape again, but I'm bending it. Those notes. So at speed, it's like this. And then it just kind of goes back into the pre-chorus riff, except that the ending of it is different. It does it normally twice and then does this little thing. And then it does the other most extra thing in the song, which is this tapping bit that it's designed to kind of construct a D chord. So it's 7, you're holding 7 down the whole time, and then 10, 12, and 14 are getting... And it's just pull off on the 14 and then hammer up to the 10 and the 12. So the whole third pre-chorus with the showy bit is like this. And then it's just back into the chorus. So that's there. I successfully nail that live a third of the time or something, but I like it on the recording. So that's the whole lead guitar for that song. Other than the solo and that little tapping bit, there's not too much to it. So here's the whole thing. It's just 2 guitars, and I'll just play it straight through with split screen, and you can kind of see how it works. So then the alternate version of this, if you don't want to do it the way that I'm doing it, or you can't because of key reasons or something, when I'm playing this in C with a capo or any other circumstance, you can also kind of just shift the chord shapes down 2 frets and do something like this: 0, 5, 5, and then the 3 and the 5 on the B. It's like a C major chord that I took the bottom off of. And then just kind of regular bar chords for the pre-chorus. And then chorus, kind of a C bar chord here. So there is a way to play it without the drone string. I just like it a little bit less. But that's how I play it sometimes when we're doing it in C, or else you can capo 1 and do that in the correct recorded key, which is how I got by until I got this drop pedal. And then the leads do not utilize the open D string as much. So I've played this plenty of times without capos or drop pedals or anything weird, and you just shift everything down a fret. So that works. The lead is actually less problematic than the rhythm for playing in other keys. Anyway, hope that was helpful. Like I said, I've had several requests to explain how this song is played, and honestly, I'm just kind of flattered anybody wants to know. So that's how I do it. You're also, of course, welcome to play this acoustic. We've done an acoustic version. I have a link to that. You can reorchestrate it differently and not do any of this nonsense, but this is how it's played when I do it. Hope that helps.